Are you looking to purchase land in Florida? You may end up in a community development district. And in today's video, we have the top things you should know. Number 1, what is a community development district or CDD? A CDD is a local unit of government in Florida. It is usually established by a developer when creating a master plan community in order to access bond financing. Number 2, what does a CDD do? A CDD finances, operates, and maintains community-wide infrastructure within a master planned community. Number 3, how does a CDD operate? First of all, many master plan communities may actually have multiple CDDs within their area. Each CDD is governed by a board of directors. The board will initially be elected by the developer, but typically after 6 years of existence, the residents of the CDD will be able to take over governance. It's also important to note that CDDs are local units of government, which means their elections are overseen by the Office of the Supervisors of Elections. Number 4, do CDDs charge assessments? Oh yes. Just like an HOA, CDDs have the power to impose assessments and levy taxes. These fees pay for the construction, operation, and maintenance of all the public facilities and infrastructure that are managed by the district. Number 5, what are the alternatives to a community development district? Well, prior to the establishment of the laws that allowed for the creation of CDDs, whenever a new large-scale development was created, the local government would typically have to fund the roads, utilities, and other major infrastructure improvements, while the developer would pay for any amenities, services, as well as, of course, all the development costs. What the CDD does is take the burden off the local government because the developer will take on bond financing to fund all of the infrastructure and amenities. However, ultimately, once residents take over control of the CDD, they will be taking on the cost of the bonds, which means they ultimately fund all of the infrastructure. Number 6, is a CDD the same as an HOA? Well, they do sometimes act in a similar manner. The two have different functions. If you are in a master plan community, you will likely pay both HOA and CDD fees, so factor this in when purchasing. And number 7, what are the benefits of a CDD? So CDDs come with extra costs to the homeowners, but they have a number of benefits. For one, they provide high-quality public facilities and services. As we mentioned earlier, because these facilities were funded with bond financing, they came at a tax-exempt rate. Because residents ultimately govern community development districts, they can set the standard of quality for any CDD-provided amenities and infrastructure, which is another way of saying that residents have a say in governance. So democratic government, this sounds like a good thing, right? Well, let's take a closer look at this last pointer. Local government can have its benefits, but it also gets very messy. For example, I was on my local community board for a while, and I remember a series of long fights over the placement of a street sign. A street sign. So if a simple street sign can lead to a shouting match, imagine how rough things can get when you're talking about infrastructure. Let's take a look at a quick case study. In October 2022, the CDD Board of Supervisors meeting for District 7 in the Villages, Florida, was standing room only. The attendees were quite distraught. A few were even in tears. Why? Well, recent media coverage over a brooding fight between the Village's District 7 Board of Supervisors and the board that manages infrastructure for the nearby commercial area had left many residents concerned they would lose all of their amenities. The problem, at its heart, is one of complex government. You see, the Villages, a sprawling, over 55 master plan community in Central Florida, Google it someday, it's famous, is governed by no less than 19 community development districts. 14 of the boards are represented by homeowners in the villages, 3 by commercial property owners, and 2 cover the management of water and sewer. To complicate matters further, there is overlapping jurisdiction for area-wide infrastructure between several of the community residential boards and one of the commercial boards. And it was a few such jointly funded projects that had District 7 at loggerheads with Sumter's Landing, one of the commercial districts. The District 7 board believed that the Sumter Landing Board paid too little toward the cost of infrastructure improvements and had too great a say in their governance. In one example of note, the District 7 board contended that the Sumter Lander Board refused to refund over $110,000 that had been set aside for a bridge project. So incensed was the District 7 board that it refused to sign a new agreement with the Sumter Landing Board covering the maintenance and repair of area-wide infrastructure. Unfortunately, the District 7 board missed one key detail. If District 7 refused to sign an agreement with Sumter Landing, the village's staff could cut them off from services. The rationale being that the staff could receive conflicting instructions over jointly controlled infrastructure from the two separate boards that would now be adversaries. Reporting on the topic became a bit hyperbolic, and soon residents of District 7 began hearing they would lose all of their amenities. Thus, the October District 7 board meeting was packed. In the end, the District 7 board agreed to let the matter die, and residents were relieved. But all of this drama just goes to show you what you could be in for if you buy into a CDD. Sure, the benefits could very well outweigh the costs, but just be prepared for some interesting politics. But what do you think? Do you have any stories about community development districts? Let us know in the comments. Did you like this video? You're going to love our Gokce Land Due Diligence program. Check it out at gokcecapital.com/glad. And while you're at our website, don't forget to explore our $1 down listings at gokcecapital.com/listings. And also don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.